So yeah, I saw some movies lately. Well, for the past couple of weeks, to be honest. Yeah, let's check them out. First one up is Destroyer. A better than average cop thriller, completely elevated by the main performance by Nicole Kidman. She absolutely nails the tough as shit detective with a dark past that slowly comes back to haunt her once again. Not to say that's the only thing that works here. The score is wonderful, there's a great sense of humanizing the criminals here, and everything is well shot with some fantastic lighting, and there's a clever twist at the end that really got me. It's a story about how our past can ruin us even if we ignore its corrosive effects, and while it has some flash of pizzazz in the cinematography that irked me, it doesn't take away from what an enjoyable and solid flick this was. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Next up is Burning. Holy shit, was this a kicker. A so burning and incredibly intelligent thriller about a socially isolated and unemployed man reconnecting with an old friend of his and her mysterious and charming lover. There's a lot of uncomfortable relatability with the cast here. You're probably not as wretched as them, but you've been in their positions before. It's got a great use of suggestibility and sharp, incredibly focused cinematography to take you on its journey. It's perfectly paced, every moment feels purposeful and telling, and it leaves you with a great sense of confusion with a powerful and messed up ending. Check this one out if you can. I'm giving it a 9. Next up, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. It's the end of the How to Train Your Dragon series. While nowhere near as solid as the first two, this is a really fun story, and I say adequately resolves this franchise. I don't think the animation is up to par with the last two, outside of one or two knockouts moments, and the overuse of comedic side characters is really excessive, but it's charming, has an exciting premise, and a really fun villain. I think the ending could have been a little more subtle, but it's got a suitable pathos and heart the series is known for, and also some amazing flying scenes to boot, so I can't complain too much. Hopefully DreamWorks Animation can come up with something as inspiring in the future. Hopefully, giving it a 7 out of 10. Next up is Can You Ever Forgive Me? So this was a surprising treat. I really walked into this not expecting much, even with the awards praise it was getting, but it's a really subtly moving treatise on the difficulty of being a creator in a world that spits you out, and the idea of forgery being an art form. It harkens back to one of my favourite documentaries, Left for Fake, and themes it overtly explored, but this is more window dressing. It's a character story of a cantankerous, mean-spirited and frustrated woman way past her prime as far as society is concerned, and her efforts to break out of that. Melissa McCarthy and Richard Grant have excellent chemistry, and its dark and comic timing combined with a sense of foreboding it creates over the house falling is second to none. Really captivating and engaging dramedy, giving it an 8. Green Book. It's fine, I guess. Peter Farrelly's left turn comedy drama follows the true life story of a hotel supervisor, Tony Villalonia, hired by African-American musician Don Shirley to drive him around the Deep South for a concert tour in 1961. It made the Academy wet their pants with hard-hitting social commentary such as, what if black people can learn from a white people, and vice versa. Every beat hits exactly how you would imagine it. It's predictable and safe, and nothing out of the ordinary really comes from this. I do think Viggo Mortensen is amazing in this part, and he and Mahershala Ali really do feel like friends. Also, the comedy works. I mean, it's rote as hell and not very interestingly shot, but it's watchable, and you do feel warm after seeing it. If it wins Best Picture, I won't be mad. I'll just have difficulty figuring out why it did. I'm giving it a 6. Next up is An Impossible Love, a pretty difficult and absorbing drama spanning a roughly 40-year relationship between a mother and daughter, and how their lives were broken down by the girl's manipulative and unstable father. It's an incredible slow burner, and there isn't a lot that kept my investment for a while, but when it got to its hook, I was really engaged by the characters and their story. A lot of this was anchored by Virginie Efira's amazing performance, who makes this character very human and quietly strong. Its uncomfortable subject matter does not take an easy route with these issues, but I admire its bravery, even if destruction can leave me a little cold. Definitely recommend it, however. 7 out of 10. Next up is A Private War. This film is getting a lot of praise in certain circles, and for the life of me, I don't see it. I think Rosamund Pike does an amazing job, and is really goddamn close to Marie Colvin, but that's about it. It's a pretty by-the-numbers biopic of a legitimately fearless, inspiring woman who risks life and limb in war-torn countries to get stories as a journalist. The cinematography feels ropey and inconsistent, and it has some of the most haphazard and confusing editing I've seen in a while. It's not the worst, and I do really want to check out the director's documentaries, but this is a totally average story of an amazing real-life person that just didn't connect with me, giving it a 5. Next up is The Lego Movie, the second part. Everything's still awesome. This does everything a good sequel should. Continues the world and the characters in an interesting, creative way, giving us new challenges on the old foundation, and expanding them thematically in a really satisfying manner. I don't find this as visually sharp, or with as great a ringer of pathos as the original, but I don't think this was ever going to recapture that lightning in a bottle. I like it being a quasi-musical, and even poking fun at it being a musical. There's still a lot of really great great gags and imagery that really goes above and beyond what the sequel needed to be. It's not as good as the first, but it's a great film and really heartfelt story. Cannot wait to see it again. Giving this one a 7. Next up is 1985. This film was fucking amazing and you should watch it as soon as you can. It follows a young man who returns to his family home after years, hiding his sexuality and also his AIDS diagnosis from them. I love the way information is parsed through the runtime. Everything is deliberate and well planned out to take the characters naturally to where they need to go. I love how the film is shot. It makes everything feel personal and the movie really stands out like a time capsule piece. All the acting is great, even the child actor is wonderful. It's heartbreaking and anger-inducing the way the AIDS crisis was handled, and it feels all too familiar in our current social climate. It's a raw and personal story that absolutely broke me by the end. Please check it out. One of the early highlights of this year, giving it a 9 out of 10. Next up is All Is True. I guess they were passionate. This was a rush job telling of William Shakespeare's final years after he retired from writing, and it kind of shows. Some lanky cinematography and poor use of natural lighting aside, none of the cast seem all that engaged or interested. The always stunning Judi Dench seems to be really bored here, and I just think that Bran is too hammy a filmmaker and a performer to make this material work. A lot of this does lie with the script, which has the job of making a patchwork true life story of a man we know very little about. It's tutting and extremely dull, which is a shame, as I like a lot of the passion that went into this. A lot of talent was involved here. I just feel this is a misfire. I'm giving this a 4. Finally, Velvet Buzzsaw. As much of a misfire as All Is True was, it's not as much of a misfire as this. Yikes. Dan Gilroy's latest fare makes it apparent that he may be a one-trick pony. Though let me say that and have him come out with a gem almost immediately afterwards. An absolutely misguided horror satire about an art dealer trying to greedily sell a dead man's painting against his wishes, only for it to escalate. It has the workings to say something about the commodification of art and the way which it warps people to be terribly self-absorbed, but also wants to be a Final Destination style gore fest. Focuses more on that, but barely has it in the film den. It tries to cover both, but fails at being either. None of the cast are remotely developed, and there's too many fucking characters. John Malkovich's character could have been cut. It has some of the most transparent and painfully set up planting and payoff. It rushes through everything, barely develops its cast ideas, and expects us to be satisfied with all that was given. I was not. It's choppy, way too brightly shot, and bizarrely mismanaged film. Here's hoping we get better from all involved later on. I'm giving this a 3 out of 10.